Breathe in. Let the thin, crystalline mountain air fill your lungs. Hear the distant murmur of monastery bells drifting across valleys. Feel the weight of the modern world loosen its grip, dissolving like mist beneath the rising Himalayan sun. This is Bhutan. Known as the Land of the Thunder Dragon, Bhutan is a small Himalayan kingdom with a presence far larger than its borders. Tucked between the giants of India and China, it spans 38,394 square kilometers of some of the most dramatic terrain on Earth, a vertical world where subtropical foothills rise into alpine forests and snowbound peaks soar beyond 7,000 meters, untouched and unnamed by climbers out of reverence for the sacred. Home to just 770,000 people, Bhutan feels less like a country and more like a living philosophy. Here, progress is not measured by gross domestic product, but by gross national happiness, a guiding principle woven into governance, education, and daily life. It is a place where spiritual well-being, cultural preservation, environmental stewardship, and community vitality are valued as deeply as economic growth. Bhutan is also a global anomaly, the world's only carbon-negative nation. With over 72% of its land cloaked in forest, these ancient woodlands absorb more than 4 times the carbon the country produces, making Bhutan a rare example of a society living in balance with its environment rather than at odds with it. Rivers run clear, wildlife roams freely between protected corridors, and silence, true silence, still exists. But Bhutan's deepest power is found not in statistics, nor even in landscapes. It resides in its temples and monasteries. Scattered across cliffs and ridgelines, perched at altitudes between 3,500 and 4,000 meters, these sacred sanctuaries seem to defy gravity. Built where earth meets sky, they are places of deliberate isolation, reachable only by foot, intention, and patience. Stone walls echo with centuries of chanting. Butter lamps flicker in darkened halls, and prayer flags snap against the wind, carrying mantras into the heavens. Within these remote retreats, time slows to a near standstill. Silent meditation retreats, often lasting a week or more, offer profound immersion into mindfulness. Days pass without speech, without distraction, guided only by breath, bells, and the rhythm of dawn and dusk. The mind, stripped of noise, begins to settle. Thoughts rise and fall like clouds over distant peaks. Awareness sharpens, presence deepens. In Bhutan, silence is not emptiness, it is fullness. This is a land where spirituality is not an escape from life, but its foundation, where monasteries are not relics of the past, but active centers of learning, healing, and reflection, where happiness is not pursued, but cultivated. As we journey deeper into Bhutan's high valleys and hidden sanctuaries, we are invited to do something rare in the modern world: to slow down, to listen, to remember what it feels like to be fully present. In the hush of the Himalayas, amid fluttering prayer flags and ancient stone, Bhutan offers more than a destination. It offers a return to balance, to meaning, and to the quiet power of the human spirit. As the modern world grows louder, a quiet countercurrent is emerging. In 2025, global searches for silent travel have surged by over 60%, a collective response to digital saturation, constant notifications, and the psychological fatigue of always being connected. Travelers are no longer seeking just scenery or spectacle. They are searching for mental reset, for places where silence is not an absence, but a presence. In this rising movement, Bhutan stands apart, not as a trend follower, but as a beacon. While much of the world scales tourism through volume and visibility, Bhutan has chosen the opposite path: low supply, high authenticity. Strict visitor limits, a daily sustainable development fee, and carefully curated experiences ensure that what is preserved is not diluted. These are not destinations designed for endless vlogs or fleeting reels. Bhutan's silent retreats offer something rarer: depth. Experiences so inward-facing they are often undocumented, lived rather than recorded. At the heart of this approach lies Bhutan's defining philosophy: gross national happiness, or GNH. Introduced in 1972 by Bhutan's fourth monarch, King Jigme Singye Wangchuck, GNH redefined what progress could mean. Instead of measuring success solely through economic output, Bhutan chose to measure what truly sustains a society: well-being. GNH evaluates national progress through 33 indicators across 9 interdependent domains: psychological well-being, health, education, time use, cultural diversity and resilience, good governance, community vitality, ecological diversity, and living standards. Together, they form a framework where material growth is balanced with emotional, spiritual, and environmental health. This philosophy is not theoretical. It shapes policy, infrastructure, education, and conservation. And it is deeply rooted in Buddhist principles: compassion for all beings, mindfulness of the present moment, and harmony with nature rather than dominance over it. Forests are protected not just for carbon metrics, but because they are considered living sanctuaries. Time is valued not only for productivity, but for rest, ritual, and reflection. In this context, silent retreats are not an escape from Bhutanese life. They are its most distilled expression. Within monastery walls, silence becomes a tool for cultivating equanimity, the ability to remain balanced amid uncertainty. Days structured around meditation, mindful walking, and simple meals realign attention inward, countering the fragmentation caused by constant digital input. Without screens, without speech, the mind gradually loosens its grip on urgency and comparison. What emerges is clarity. In a world accelerating toward noise, Bhutan offers a different proposition: that progress can be quiet, that fulfillment can be inward, that happiness is not chased but trained. As travelers arrive seeking silence, they discover something deeper than rest. They encounter a nation that has already asked and answered the question many societies are only beginning to confront: what is the purpose of development if it does not lead to peace? In the stillness of Bhutan's high monasteries, amid fluttering prayer flags and ancient stone, the answer echoes softly: not louder lives, but wiser ones. Over the next few minutes, we step beyond observation and into experience. This is not a journey measured in miles, but in moments, a transformative week inside Bhutan's Himalayan sanctuaries, where silence becomes teacher and time loosens its grip. From the first breath taken in mist-shrouded valleys to the steady cadence of meditation bells, we will follow how gross national happiness is not spoken here. It is lived, woven through every chant, every footstep, every pause between thoughts. Our passage will culminate in a final vigil at a sacred site, where words fall away and silence reveals something elemental: the essence of happiness, not as pleasure, but as presence. Welcome to a realm where the mountains instruct stillness. Let the retreat begin. Our silent retreat unfolds in the Paro Valley, Bhutan's spiritual gateway. Resting at 2,200 meters above sea level, Paro is a wide glacial basin cradled by forested ridges and snow-fed peaks that rise toward 4,000 meters, their silhouettes softened by drifting clouds. Below, terraced rice fields ripple across the valley floor, glowing emerald during the monsoon months from June to September, when rain and mist blur the boundary between land and sky. The journey begins at Paro International Airport, often ranked among the world's most dramatic. Only a handful of pilots are certified to land here. The descent is a choreography of precision, banking sharply between cliffs, skimming past prayer flags and forested slopes, before touching down on a narrow runway carved from the valley floor. It is an arrival that feels less like landing and more like being admitted. From the airport, we travel north by road for 45 minutes, following the Paro River as it threads through villages and pine forests. The noise of engines fades quickly. At a quiet trailhead, the road ends, and walking begins. The ascent to Tango Monastery takes roughly 1.5 hours, climbing 900 vertical meters along a steep stone path worn smooth by centuries of pilgrims and monks. The air thins. Breathing slows. With every step, the modern world drops away. Prayer flags flutter overhead, snapping sharply in the mountain wind, carrying mantras outward into the valley below. Founded in 1688 by Lama Gyalwa Lanampa, Tango Monastery is a 17th-century hermitage of the Nyingma school, Bhutan's oldest Buddhist tradition. Built directly into the Keets, cliff face. It overlooks the winding Thimphu River, its whitewashed walls and dark wooden beams appearing almost grown from the rock itself. This is not a place designed for comfort, but for clarity. Tango is one of more than 2,000 monasteries and sacred sites scattered across Bhutan, yet its role is distinct. For centuries, it has served as a center for advanced meditation and Buddhist scholarship, and today it hosts week-long silent retreats, carefully limited to 10 to 15 participants at a time to preserve stillness and intimacy. The retreat is donation-based, typically around 5,000 Bhutanese ngultrum per day, approximately $60, covering the essentials only. Meals are simple and vegetarian: rice, lentils, seasonal vegetables, butter tea. Accommodation is shared, basic dormitories with mattresses and blankets, no adornment, no excess. There is no electricity after dusk. When the sun slips behind the ridgeline, candles and butter lamps take over. Darkness settles early. Without screens, without artificial light, the mind follows the same rhythm as the mountains, winding down, turning inward. Silence is not enforced through rules alone. It is upheld by mutual intention. Here, days are shaped by bells rather than clocks. Mornings begin before dawn. Meditation, mindful walking, study, rest. No speech, no phones, no distractions, only breath, only awareness. In this high place, perched between earth and sky, Bhutan's philosophy reveals its quiet power. Gross national happiness is no longer a policy framework, it becomes embodied practice. Time is used intentionally, community is honored through shared silence. Psychological well-being is cultivated not through stimulation, but through stillness. As the retreat unfolds, the mountains watch without judgment. They have stood here for millennia, and slowly, as thoughts settle like dust in clear air, a realization emerges that happiness, stripped of noise and ambition, is not something to be achieved. It is something to be remembered. Accessibility here is intentional, never accidental. Bhutan's silent retreats are not designed for ease, but for readiness. Participants are expected to arrive with moderate physical fitness, capable of completing sustained mountain hikes and adapting to altitude. This requirement is not a barrier, it is a filter, ensuring that those who ascend do so with awareness, humility, and respect for the terrain they are entering. Entry into the kingdom itself follows the same philosophy. All visitors travel under Bhutan's high-value, low-impact tourism policy, with visas arranged exclusively through licensed Bhutanese tour operators. Central to this system is the Sustainable Development Fee, set at $100 per day. a deliberate investment rather than a cost. These funds are channeled directly into environmental conservation, cultural preservation, healthcare, and education, reinforcing the ecological diversity pillar of gross, national happiness. Tourism here does not extract, it sustains. Upon arrival at the monastery, formality gives way to reverence. A resident lama steps forward, draping a kata, a white ceremonial scarf around each participant's neck. The gesture is simple, yet profound. The kata symbolizes purity of intention, compassion, and auspicious beginnings. In that moment, the outside world officially recedes. The retreat has begun. The rules are then spoken once, calmly, without emphasis, without repetition. No speaking, no phones, no cameras, no books, no writing, nothing to distract the mind from itself. This is not deprivation, it is clarification. The silence practiced here traces its lineage to Vipassana, one of the oldest meditation traditions in the Buddhist world. Introduced to Bhutan in the 8th century by Guru Rinpoche, Padmasambhava, the revered figure who brought Vajrayana Buddhism to the Himalayas, Vipassana is a practice of direct insight. It trains the mind to observe thoughts, sensations, and emotions without judgment, allowing awareness to sharpen and habitual reactions to soften. In silence, the mind resists at first. Thoughts multiply, memories surface, restlessness asserts itself. Then, slowly, something shifts. Without conversation to escape into, emotions are felt fully and allowed to pass. Without screens, attention settles into the present moment. Breath becomes an anchor. The body becomes a field of sensation. Awareness widens. Neuroscience now confirms what these traditions have long understood. Sustained silent meditation reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, while strengthening neural pathways linked to emotional regulation and empathy. In the language of Bhutan's development philosophy, this is the psychological well-being domain of GNH made tangible. Inner stability cultivated not through consumption, but through observation. Silence here is not empty, it is instructional. Each hour spent without speech retrains the nervous system. Each step taken mindfully across stone courtyards and forest paths reinforces presence. Over days, participants report heightened emotional clarity, softened self-judgment, and an unexpected expansion of compassion toward themselves and toward others. In this monastery clinging to Himalayan cliffs, Bhutan's values reveal their coherence. Policy aligns with practice. Philosophy aligns with physiology. Inner peace becomes not an abstraction, but an experience earned through discipline and stillness. And as the silence deepens, one truth becomes unmistakable. In a world desperate for answers, Bhutan offers something rarer, the space to listen. Day 1. Orientation and acclimatization. The retreat begins gently, by design. Participants settle into monastic quarters carved from stone, their simplicity deliberate. Thick walls retain warmth. Wooden shutters open onto vast Himalayan vistas. Pine-clad slopes, drifting clouds, and distant ridgelines fading into blue. At this altitude, days remain cool, hovering between 10 and 15 degrees Celsius, while nights descend sharply toward 5 degrees, drawing the body inward and sharpening awareness of breath. This first day is about arrival, not effort. In an opening session, the resident Lama introduces the philosophical foundation underpinning everything that follows: gross national happiness. Conceived as Bhutan faced the pressures of modernization, GNH emerged from a conviction articulated in 1972 by the fourth king, Jigme Singye Wangchuck, who declared that gross national happiness is more important than gross domestic product. What began as a guiding idea matured into governance. In 2008, Bhutan enshrined GNH into its constitution, mandating that all national policies be screened for their impact on well-being. The Lama outlines the four foundational pillars of GNH: sustainable and equitable development, cultural preservation, environmental conservation, and good governance. These pillars are not symbolic. They are assessed through annual national surveys measuring 148 variables, from mental health and time use to ecological resilience and social trust. Bhutan consistently scores among the world's highest in community vitality, with over 91% of citizens reporting strong social support and life satisfaction. As daylight fades, the retreat crosses a threshold. At sunset, silence formally begins. No announcements mark the transition, only the deepening hush of evening. As darkness settles, monks gather for chants. The mantra Om Mani Padme Hum rises and falls through the stone halls, its cadence steady, ancient, and unhurried. Invoking compassion for all beings, the sound reverberates softly, then dissolves into stillness. The first night passes quietly. Days 2 to 3, deepening the practice. Each morning begins before dawn. At 5 a.m., a bell cuts gently through sleep, summoning participants to the main hall. Wrapped in shawls, against the mountain chill, they take their places on cushions for 45 minutes of seated meditation. The focus is anapanasati, awareness of the breath, inhalation, exhalation, nothing added, nothing removed. This foundational practice trains attention to rest in the present moment, a skill Bhutan regards as essential to psychological well-being, one of GNH's central domains. After meditation, the body moves. Walking meditation unfolds along forest paths surrounding the monastery. Each step is deliberate. Eyes remain lowered. The forest reveals itself slowly, blue poppies blooming briefly in spring, rhododendrons igniting hillsides in summer, moss and lichen clinging to stone. Nature here is not scenery, it is instructor. This immersion reflects Bhutan's commitment to ecological diversity, constitutionally protected with a mandate to maintain at least 60% forest cover, a standard the nation continues to exceed. Afternoons shift toward reflection and learning teachings. Explore how GNH translates into daily governance. Health, supported through a dual system combining modern medicine with traditional herbal practices derived from over 1,600 medicinal plant species found in Bhutan's forests. Education, delivered through schools that integrate contemporary science with Buddhist ethics, emphasizing compassion alongside competence. Governance, shaped by decentralized decision-making that prioritizes local voices and long-term balance over short-term gain. Meals are simple and unadorned. Rice, seasonal vegetables, and dole served and eaten in complete silence. Without conversation, eating becomes attentive. Each bite is noticed. Waste diminishes naturally. Consumption aligns with need rather than habit, embodying the principle of sustainable development not as policy but as practice. As evening approaches, participants may choose to engage in prostrations, a traditional devotional exercise involving 108 full bows before the altar. The movement is repetitive, demanding, and humbling. It builds strength, flexibility, and endurance, but more importantly, it dissolves self-importance through repetition and effort. By the third day, something begins to shift. Thoughts lose urgency. Silence grows familiar. The mountains feel closer. What started as retreat now becomes immersion, a lived expression of Bhutan's quiet assertion that happiness is not pursued outwardly but cultivated inwardly through rhythm, restraint, and reverence. And the journey, though still early, has already begun to change its travelers. Days 4 to 5, solitude and insight. By the fourth day, silence is no longer an absence, it is a presence. The retreat deepens as participants venture beyond Tango, ascending a forested trail toward Cherry Monastery, a sacred hermitage perched at 2,800 meters, roughly a 1-hour hike through oak and pine. Founded in 1620 by Shabdrung Ngawang Namgyal, the unifier of Bhutan and architect of its spiritual political identity. Cherry is not merely a monastery. It is a crucible of insight, long reserved for advanced meditation and prolonged isolation. Stone steps lead to caves carved into cliffs, their entrances dark, cool, and austere. For centuries, lamas retreated here for months or even years, emerging transformed. Within these walls, participants sit alone. No guidance, no ritual, no sound beyond wind and breath. The silence becomes internal. Thoughts surface, unravel, dissolve. This solitude mirrors one of GNH's most powerful paradoxes. Community vitality is strengthened by inner stability. Bhutan's rural regions, where social cohesion remains strong, exhibit depression rates nearly 40% lower than rapidly urbanizing areas, according to national well-being surveys. Here, alone in the mountains, reflection reveals why. Genuine connection begins with presence, first to oneself, then to others. At this altitude, the body is subtly challenged. Oxygen levels are approximately 15% lower than at sea level. Breathing slows, sensations sharpen, awareness becomes precise, almost luminous. Distractions fall away. In this rarefied air, mindfulness intensifies, not through effort, but necessity. During brief instructional moments, lamas explain how Bhutan extends these principles into governance itself. Mindfulness is not confined to monasteries. Since 2010, Bhutan has integrated contemplative practices into public education, mandating meditation sessions in schools nationwide. The result? Student well-being indicators have risen by approximately 25%, with measurable improvements in emotional regulation, focus, and empathy. Here, policy begins not with productivity, but with attention. Day 6. Integration and reflection. The final full day marks a turning inward and outward. At dawn, participants gather for a guided group meditation, shifting from inward observation to metta, or loving kindness practice. Breath becomes a vehicle for intention. Compassion is extended first to oneself, then gradually outward, to loved ones, strangers, adversaries, and finally to all living beings and the natural world. This practice reflects GNH's good governance domain, rooted in ethical leadership and collective responsibility. For the first time since sunset on day 1, silence is briefly broken. In a quiet circle, reflections are shared, measured, intentional, unhurried. Discussion turns to cultural preservation, another pillar of GNH. Bhutan safeguards 13 traditional arts, from intricate weaving and wood carving to sacred mask-making used in ritual dances. These practices are not museum relics. They are living expressions of identity, resilience, and continuity in the face of globalization. The conversation is short. Words are sparse, but meaning is dense. As silence resumes, participants understand something essential. The retreat was never about withdrawal from the world. It was preparation to re-enter it with clarity. The essence of the retreat. At its core, this silent retreat is not an escape. It is an alignment. Silence becomes a technology of happiness. Mindfulness becomes infrastructure. Inner balance becomes national policy. This is the quiet genius of gross national happiness. Progress measured not by speed or accumulation, but by harmony between mind and body, individual and community, humanity and nature. As Bhutan adapts GNH for the modern era, introducing digital well-being metrics in 2025 to address screen fatigue and attention fragmentation, these retreats remain timeless anchors. Stone walls, cold air, still minds, unchanged truths. When participants finally descend from the mountains, they carry no souvenirs. Only something rarer, stillness that endures. In Bhutan, the mountains do not demand silence. They invite it. And in listening, happiness quietly reveals itself. Our week culminates in a meditative vigil at Tango's sacred viewpoint, a narrow cliffside ledge suspended above the Paro Valley. Participants sit in complete silence, wrapped in wool blankets, gazing across a vast Himalayan expanse. Below, the river traces silver curves through darkness. Above, the sky opens in a canopy of stars, untouched by artificial light. As the moon crests the ridgeline, illuminating distant 7,000-meter peaks, the Lama steps forward and lights a circle of butter lamps, their steady flames symbolizing wisdom, dispelling ignorance. In hushed reverence, he offers a final Karakia-style prayer for global happiness, compassion, and balance. No words follow. None are needed. This moment distills the essence of gross national happiness, inner transformation radiating outward, personal clarity contributing to collective well-being. In Bhutan, happiness is not an abstract ideal. It is a lived practice, a policy choice, and a shared responsibility. As dawn approaches and silence softens into birdsong, the retreat draws to a close. But its lessons endure. Carry Bhutan's wisdom with you. That stillness is not emptiness. That contentment arises from alignment. That true wealth is measured in presence. Seek your own retreat. Protect your attention. Embrace balance over excess. Until next time, find peace in the silence.